Welcome back, part 2 of the Hound Dog box build. Sorry for the noise. I'm running a swamp cooler and a window air conditioner in here. I only have a third of the roof insulated. It's gonna be a scorcher. But anyways, like I said, we're back on the dog box. Off camera, I cut these 3 crossbars. They're not welded in, I just set them there to make sure they fit. The Harbor Freight tube notcher is actually pretty decent. On aluminum it is. I have a fear that it's not gonna be strong enough for steel, but most of what I will use it for, honestly, will probably be aluminum tubing like this. So we've got a truck rack we're gonna be building soon. But anyways, I got those in. They're not welded, or they're not even measured or spaced. I just kind of eyeballed it. But that's gonna get a skin over the top of that. And then right now I'm getting ready to cut this skin out. And how I measured it was about 3/16 off of center of this guy to the edge of this, because I want it to lay in flush. And then I measured centers from that guy to this guy, which was 50 1/4. And then I'm gonna minus 1/2 inch off of that to end it, or sorry, not 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch off of that to end it, so that it's just on the inside of the radius of this enough that when you look across this way, it's flush. We'll mark that. We'll cut it with the scale saw in, a 1/4 inch high torque, low RPM saw. And we'll go set that in, make sure it fits. I'm gonna get the, for the top, I'm just gonna bring the rack in here and lay it upside down and trace it, because I got angles and everything. And between you and me, don't tell anybody else, it's probably 1/8 of an inch out of square. And if you trace it, you get an actual fit rather than trying to measure everything out. Don't tell anybody about the squareness. You don't say anything, I won't say anything. It'll be our little secret. So we can get that remeasured and get this marked. I double checked the numbers. It is 11 7/16 by 49 3/4. That should have it sit flush inside. But I have this marked out. We're gonna use the skill saw. I'll put a link in this thing in the description. On sheet metal, this thing's pretty awesome. Anything thicker than 1/4 inch, I would say switch to plasma or a skinny wheel on a grinder. But it is called SPT 78 MMC. But I got that off Amazon. It's a 8 1/4 inch, low RPM, high torque saw. It is awesome on sheet metal. If you're doing 1/4 inch and thinner stuff all the time, it's a really clean cut. The Diablo 8CF, something like that blade, I'll have a link for that in the description as well, is awesome. It's gonna rip through this like nothing. The only downside I could say about it is it is wicked loud. So the saw will cut as straight as the operator can handle it. So if you're not good with a skill saw, practice. If you are good with a skill saw, you can get perfect cuts with the saw. Don't want to cut past my marks with the saw because of the radius of the blade, because I want to be able to use everything in the perimeter of this piece I'm using. So I'm going to use the jigsaw to finish my cuts. So this is the first one. Like I said, I'll have to radius these corners because I have welds in the corners, so it'll need to be a small radius there, and I'll do that real quick with the grinder. Got the top skin cut out. Not welding it down yet because I haven't put the cross members in, but I just need to grind a little bit of clearances. I have some Sharpie marks, just clearances around the weld profiles. Say so far it's pretty good. You can see this is the factory edge right there, and that's the amount out of square that I am. Once it's all welded in, you won't notice a difference. Adding to the swamp cooler and the air conditioner is now the Everlast 210 EXT. So while all this is running in the shop, I'm probably not gonna talk too much, but I have it set to 140 amps. I set it to 130 hertz so I can pinpoint my arc while I'm welding in those tubes, or the cross members, and that sheeting. So that machine is running, and she is loud.
I know you told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away, as you fade away.
Yeah, I'm about to fade away, cause every time I wake up I feel like it's Monday. Something's going wrong with all the chemicals up in my brain. All of a sudden I don't look at anything the same way. Gotta build up of my thoughts sitting in an ashtray. I'm sorry that I'm so inconvenient, okay. Just let me be me and I'll stay out of your way. I can see the way you look at me, I'm such a disgrace. I never really asked to be brought into this place. You wanna love me? Well then baby have a taste. All the highs and the lows, no you'll never be the same. I don't really wanna hurt you but I can't control the pain. If you're sticking by my side maybe we could be okay. Okay, maybe you could be the change I need today. I promise that I've never felt this way. I really hope that you will choose to stay through all the pain.
I know you told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why.
Okay, cross members are welded in, nice and secure like. So now it's time to do this upper skin. I'm going to top one first and then I'll do this back one, or technically the front. So I got to peel that skin off, set it on top of here, and I'll probably do all the corners, and then I'll do these joints. I'm actually going to drill probably 3 holes along each cross member in that, so I can tack the sheet down to that. So anyways, there's our progress so far. Pretty happy with it. Wish it was going a little bit quicker, but that's the speed I work at, I guess. Okay, we got that top skin on. I'm pretty happy with it. If it does rattle, I'll have to squirt some silicone in the seam underneath, but I got 3 plug welds on each cross member, and then I've just stitched around the outside edges. I did have some uglier welds, like the center of this one. I was having a hard time figuring out what was going on, and anyways, my argon bottle ran out. I put the new bottle on and it cleaned right up. So the last end of that bottle, that big bottle right there, must have been dirty. Like, see this weld, it's really porous, getting a lot of debris in there. And then this one right next to it, I mean, though my hand's not steady, the weld's a lot cleaner. That one's cleaner too. And then if you look at this one, you can see a lot of porosity, and it just was getting dirty stuff floating in the puddle. So the next step would be to do this. This would be considered the front skin, but I actually want to go drill my holes for bolting this down, and I'm considering doing 3 or maybe 4 bolts on the front. I want to drill it out, and then I want to cut it with a file so a square head bolt will fit in there, like a carriage bolt. That way you don't have to have 2 sets of tools to put it in. So I think I'm going to take this back out, bolt these tangs back down, and then I'll drill whatever holes I'm going to do on this, and then we'll file it with, you actually use, I use, I don't know if everybody does the same, I use a triangular file, right here. I use this triangular file to make my square holes for carriage bolts. So 3 or 4 holes along there, and then I'll square them out, drop carriage bolts in, and then I'll put this front skin on. Then after that, it's the top rail and the door. Okay, that there skin is Dunskies. So I clamped and massaged, and I used the floor jack to get rid of a little bit of downward droop in that. So anyways, pretty happy. If I wanted to spend more money and time, I could weld the entire seam, but I think that's unnecessary. It'd probably look prettier, but anyways, It doesn't need to be watertight or anything, just needs to be secure. So really, we've got the handrail on top left and the back door, but I want to go fit it. I want to bolt it in. As you can see, I got my holes there. So I have some carriage bolts. Like I said, I opened those slots up with the file. So let's go fit it and see what it looks like. Pretty happy with that. That looks pretty awesome, I think. I'm not a good sheet metal worker, and as you can see where each cross member is, this seam is lifted up a little bit. But really, other than that, I'm pretty satisfied, to be honest with you. So, anyways, this door is going to start here, go down. And this bottom portion of the door is not actually going to attach anything, so I'll have a piece welded from this over, and then a bar will go across the bottom, come up here, have another piece welded over, and then probably 2 verticals on either side, and then the door. So the door is going to end up being probably from that cross member to that cross member. I don't know if maybe that's too big, but I think the bigger the better. That way, if you wanted to put cargo in here, it gives you a pretty good opening, you know, 5-gallon buckets or whatnot. So hopefully you can hear me. I'm trying to talk quiet because it's midnight. But anyways, until next time, we'll see where we get on this. I might make the door part 3, door in this top rack part 3 maybe. I don't know. I don't know how much time I've recorded already, probably 30 minutes. So anyways, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe for more. Quick update with all the fans going. I've been working on this upper railing. I do have a few mistakes. The number one thing I wish I would have done differently is I wish I would have made this one piece all the way through. If I would have had the foresight, which I had a different plan in mind, but if this guy could have come through in one piece, that whole junction would look way better. Same thing here. The other thing is I measured for this upper guy, I wanted it to land right in this corner, but I measured the wrong side of this angle, which knocked me back on the inch basically. But anyways, it's not a deal breaker or anything. So these guys aren't welded in yet. I just sitting them there seeing if I want 2, which I think I'm gonna go with 2. I was thinking maybe 3. I think 2 is actually perfect. And then I'll probably do, gosh, it looks really goofy not having them line up. I might do 2 here, 1 above this, 1 above that, and then consider that this is triangulated, that's straight up. Let me know what you think, because one's going to be ugly there though, so it's got to be there and there. So we'll spend another $2 on aluminum and $3 on filler material. So same on this side. So I need to make 4 that are this height, and then like I said, I cut 3 for this, but I think 2 looks better than 3 would. I suppose I could do 3 and line them up with the existing cross members, which was the initial plan. That look better? That does look better. So here's the 3rd one. Yeah, that does look better. So That's not permanent space. I'm gonna actually measure that out, but we'll do that. So then the next thing I've got to do, once this railing's done, or this portion, is I need loops welded on here that they can tie dog leashes to. That way the dogs won't fall out. But anyways, they put like a 6-inch lanyard on the dogs to make sure they can't fall out. So we'll do all across the front, probably 4 of them. And we'll have them bias towards the middle. That way if the dog's lashed here, his head can't get too far out the side. And then we'll probably do one dead center on the sides. That way when you put cargo up here, not dogs, you have something strapped to. Which, I mean, you can strap to the railing, so. But if you want to strap, they can't slide forward and backward. So, it is pretty dang hot in here. I think it's 90 in the shop today. There's no wind today, and that's the difference, so we are 90 here. But my thermometer outside is like 125. It's not saying outside temperature is 125, but in direct sunlight against the building, it is just maxed. So it says 120. I don't know if it can go higher, but that's the temperature of what the shop is getting hit with. So all of that metal up there is probably 120 degrees, making this a nice easy bake shop. So anyways, we'll get back to welding this out, make some hook brackets, make some more verticals, and progress. So I've got my little eyelets. These are what we're gonna have the dogs be tied to, and cargo. And I'm just, I got this 1.5 inch by 1/4 inch flat bar stock, and I'm just drilling through a portion of it, as you can see right here. And then I'll flip it 180 and drill again, drill again, drill again. Once they're all drilled out, then I cut them on the bandsaw, and then I've been radiusing them on the belt sander there. I looked up a whole bunch of different stuff that would be similar to this. I found some stuff that was weldable, but it was like $12 a piece, and so I think I'm quite a bit cheaper than $12 a piece on this, because I've got 7 of them done so far in about 30 minutes. So, but I'm gonna finish out this strip here, as many as I can get on there, and that's how many I'll do. I welded this plate down because as I kept clamping stuff, if this hole saw catches weird, it was just ripping this out from under the clamp. So this guy's actually welded down so he can't go anywhere. Nothing pretty. I just have some flux core in the welder, so I just spat some nasty welds on there. Been using this corner of the mag drill right there to mark where I set my pieces down. So there's our pile of dust, and there's a pile of dust. And that is just these 3 I cleaned up after I did the others. I got a few pieces cut and in here. Got most of the basic works done. This is the spacing I'm gonna have. This is kind of how I was talking about, like there'll be a void here, but there's no real point trying like trace out the tailgate of the bed perfectly, because it just doesn't matter. A dog can't fit through there. So I just went with the spacing I wanted here and then just went straight down. So a little gap there, but this is what I'm doing for hinges. And those guys on there. That's my main door panel. I'm gonna go ahead and start welding out all this stuff so it's kind of fixed. And then I'm gonna leave these 2, like the door actual frame opening ones, undone until I fit the door. This is the panel, but I still gotta get like a latch and my bars in there so dogs can't get out of that. We're really getting down to just the finishing touches. I got a couple latch options off of Amazon. I'll open those up and show those to you in a little bit, but real quick, I'm just gonna get this joint and these 2 joints on either side welded up so that this is kind of fixed, and then I can be able to pull this in and out again to get everything else welded and fit right. So I got the door right here. I've got little spacers welded on the hinges, so I'll have this 1/2 inch gap. I need to weld those, but I don't want to get to that yet, but I do have it set up because that's how it's going to be. I will need to weld some stops on here to just basically hold the height on the door. but that's in a little bit. I'm gonna work on filling in the door and getting our latch installed. I got two different styles, and this is the style. The other style is like an RV door latching one, like spring-loaded latch. This one is going to be easier to set up. So my biggest concern with it is that I don't want to leave it like this on the inside, because you hit bumps and stuff and dogs could bump into this, and there's sharp edges and whatnot. And so I'm gonna end up having to box it, which is gonna give me like a 3.5 inch thick box on there. But at least I can soften up the corners with that and make it something that the dogs won't run into and get injured. This is the initial layout of that door handle box. This is the exterior dimensions. This has to get cut out so that this side can slide down into there. And then basically I'll take this same amount and turn it 90 degrees, weld it on, and then plate the back side. I don't have a sheet brake, but that would actually be really nice for this, because I could cut there, and I could just bend these two sides around and won't have to weld that. But I don't have it, so I'll weld it. But anyway, so I'm gonna on this, I'm gonna drill out these corners, the sharp corners, and then I can jigsaw around that, and then I'll cut this out, and then I'm probably gonna build most of the box, mount this in it, and then weld the box into the door frame. And then I've got to add at the edge of the door there a vertical, and then another one here, and then I've got to do a small one right here. That way there's no spaces large enough for the dogs to escape. Here's our progress on the door. We got the handle box cut out, not the box, but the faceplate. I got these bars cut and in place. There's 6 1/8 in between, so I actually don't need to do anything more than that. I've been assured that anything less than 7 the dogs can't get out of. So 6 1/8 inch. So I'm gonna square these and weld all that out, weld this faceplate in, flip it over, and do the rest of the handle box. Insert the handle. So that's gonna drop in there. So once this is all welded and the hinge is welded on, I'm ready to weld this here. And then this is the other side of the door. I'm just gonna wait until the door's in to fit that, so I can make sure I have equal clearance. Once those two verticals are welded in, then I need to attach a latch tab for this to catch, finish out the door box, or the latch box. We got that door attached. Latch in. It's in pretty good. I cut one of these hinges, I cut a half chunk of that and welded right there, so the door height is set by that. The latch is on. I did a little box around the latch like I talked about, so the dogs wouldn't run into all the pokey spots there. I rounded those corners. I don't think they'll run into those too much, but all this stuff up here that they bump into is round, soft stuff. I put a tang on right there for the door latch to catch, and then I have this kind of like a door stop or the jam piece inside your doorway, so the door pushes against this and pushes against this so it can't rattle. Swung that little height. So it's not bolted down yet because I want to weigh it still, but there is no rattle in the door. And that is the cage. So I'm a little worried about this. This is 6 1/8 inches. He says dogs can't get out of a 7-inch hole. So I think that'll be fine. But anyways, that is the dog box. So I'm gonna pull this machine out a little bit and we're gonna lift this up on there on the gantry crane, and we're gonna see how much this bad boy weighs. The going price that I paid for most of this aluminum is right at about $5.88 a pound. If you average it all out, if you were building something like this yourself, you could draw it up and probably add 15% or 10% for waste, depending on how good you are at cutting and not making mistakes. I don't have any of this tubing left over longer than 3 inches. There are chunks in here that are just slivers like that. And then the cores from hole sawing for those fisheye cuts. This is my biggest leftover piece from the whole project. I do have most of this sheet left over. It is right there. This box used about 1/3 of that sheet. I bought that sheet knowing I'm gonna use a lot more of that, so I don't consider any of that waste. But this, that tang right there are all made out of scraps from that sheet. And a lot of like these smaller things are what I just have laying around left over. These loops right there were a piece of flat strap that I had sitting down. So Not really a lot of waste here. So at any rate, like I said, you could draw something like this up, figure out exactly how much it weighs or how much you think it'll weigh, and figure your cost of material is going to be $5.94 times by that. Factor in some waste, and then if you're running a business, you have to factor in your time to go pick it up and size it all. And this is where I make up for like my bandsaw blades and stuff is I tap a small percentage on top of the material that I buy, and then that covers the stuff that I oversee, like shielding gas. I used 250. I think it's a 250. So I used about half of it, maybe only a third of it, and then I used probably a quarter of a 70 cubic foot bottle, or 80 cubic foot bottle, sorry. A 250 and an 80. But I don't charge for gas. I throw on top of the material, and that covers my bandsaw blades, my gas, my circular saw blades. I use the 8 1/4 inch skill saw to cut this sheet and to cut these sheets out. The hole saw that is probably halfway through its life, cutting nearly, I don't know, 80 of these fish eyes. So all that has to be factored in. But anyways, I hope you like this video. I hope you like this project. Let's get it weighed and show you how much it weighs. Put your estimates or your guesses down in the comments. I know none of you will, but for those true diehard followers, comment below how much this weighs. Here we have it. 54 pounds. Let's get this thing secured down on that there machine, and let's go deliver it to the customer. This is fully anchored down. I've never had the front bolts in, so seems sturdy. That gets too bad, like if it loosens up over time, that latch is fully adjustable. There it is, in all of its greatness and joy. So 54 pounds, it's pretty light, not too shabby. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. A few mistakes I made. If I did it again, this piece would be one full piece. I did this first platform as you saw, and then attach this on, and it would be better if this went straight up. I got a little skitty wampus on a couple things. I don't know if I love this hinge or not yet. It's clean, but I'm afraid if something gets in there, the aluminum will start to gall. And then I might actually, before I take this, sand down right there a little bit, because it does touch. But maybe I'll just put a piece of foam in there. But at any rate, that is the dog box. So I hope it works out for him, and I'm gonna take it to him right now. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe for more. Tell me what you would have done differently. Tell me what you like or dislike. We'll see you on the next one.
Never said you felt that way. Guess you're trying to stay strong and